Sargasso Sea.
Just keep running.
Stay there a year or so until they're about 3 or 4 inches long, and then they swim back to America and back to Europe. That's what seems the strangest thing to me, that the young eels, which have never been anywhere except in the Sargasso Sea, know where to go. They go to the rivers where their parents came from.
Mm-hmm.
They must have some sort of hereditary memory.
That's the sort of one that equals the swallows going back to Capistrano. Why do salmons die after they lay their eggs?
The female, of course, lays the eggs and dies. The male fertilizes the eggs and dies, too. I guess they've gone just about as far as they can go.
They gave their all. Yeah. Dr. Ravel, I recall hearing that you think rather highly of the octopus. I think you mentioned that in your conversation.
Yes, Edgar, they're very intelligent creatures. Most people think of them, of course, as aggressive and hostile and a great menace, lurking behind rocks ready to reach out and grab you, but actually they're quite timid and afraid. They hide behind the rocks because they're afraid of open spaces.
Well, you mentioned that they can be trained, too, that they're intelligent.
Yes, they certainly can. For instance, if you put a crab, they're very fond of crabs. If you put a crab inside a mason jar, you can teach an octopus to unscrew the jar and reach in and take out the crab. But I've never heard of one putting the lid back on.
What would you consider the highest social order in marine life? Is there anything approaching the organizational abilities of the ant colonies, for example?
Well, there's several things you can say here. Some primitive forms of marine life are halfway a colony and halfway an individual. And of course, everybody knows that fish school, but they never seem to have a leader. The only marine animals that really work together are the killer whales, which cooperate in hunting much like wolves do, hunting in a pack.
Are there many whales along our Pacific coast here?
Yes, there are a lot of them, and they're called the California gray whales, and they're wonderfully interesting. I live right on the beach at La Jolla, and at times I've seen as many as 2,000 whales each winter passing close to shore on their way down to Lower California, where they go to the lagoons down there.
They go down there to spend the winters, don't they?
No, they actually have a much more serious purpose than that. They go down there to have their young.
Oh, I see.
The cows, the female whales, go inside the lagoon, and the male waits outside the bar of the lagoon, just like males everywhere waiting for their mate to have the baby.
I can just see those poor whales now pacing up and down that ocean outside the bar. Well, we know the ocean currents affect the climate of the world, making, like, for example, Western Europe much warmer. Do you have any comment on this article that was in Saturday Evening Post about the world is getting colder? Do you go along with that?
Well, Edgar, I don't think it is. I think it's probably getting warmer, and this is really because of something that human beings are doing. We're burning an awful lot of coal and oil and natural gas, and this is putting a lot of carbon dioxide into the air. We use it all the time as dry ice, but this is what's produced by burning these fuels. And the carbon dioxide absorbs heat, much like the glass in a greenhouse. And I think it may very well be possible that within the next 50 years, the climate everywhere will get a little warmer. And this will really mean that quite a few things may happen. It may not, but it's certainly possible. One is that Russia will get about 2,000 miles of ice-free ports in the Arctic Ocean. She might become a great maritime power. Another possibility is that the climate of Southern California and the Southwest in general will continue to get drier than it is now. The hopeful thing about it is that Alaska and northern Canada may turn into a place where a lot more people can live.
Well, I think this has been a very, very exciting little chat we've had here, and I want to thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you.
Good night, Dr. Ravel.